The following episode of Bread for the People is brought to you by Side Hustle Bread, Long Island's handcrafted artisanal bread company. Side Hustle Bread is a family-run virtual bakery that's bringing the neighborhood feel back to Long Island, one loaf at a time. Head on over to sidehustlebread.com for more information, upcoming appearances, and merchandise. My name's Jim Serpico, and this... Should I start with my name? Or should I start with This Is Bread for the People? Do you like it like this? Welcome to Bread. Or do you like it like this? Welcome. Ready? Welcome to Bread for the People. Mine... Is there a script? Welcome to Bread for the People. I'm Jim Serpico. My next guest is known for her smoky, full-bodied vocals and dangerously personal lyrics. Rozzi has toured with Maroon 5, OAR. Her music is featured on television series like The Morning Show and the deluxe version of her album, Berry, that's Berry Deluxe, comes out November 18th. Her new single, Past Life, featuring PJ Morton, is out now. The album is simply stunning. Don't want to take my word for it? Let's check out a few seconds of Flow.
You're so hard it hurts. I've never said those words. When you're in your white t-shirt, I'm like, don't stop.
All right, guys, you got to download that album. Go to Spotify and check out the rest of it. It's just absolutely unbelievable. Rozzi, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I am a big fan. Here's how I discovered you. I'm into all types of music, hip-hop, bebop, alternative. I really love neo-funk. I love the band Lettuce.
Me too.
I like this band called Knower.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
So I'm familiar with Sam Wilkes.
Yes.
I connect him to Scary Pockets. And I go to Brooklyn Bowl in April of 2019, not knowing who you are. And I'm curious, for those people who don't know Scary Pockets, it was founded by two guys, Ryan Lerman and Jack Conte. And Jack, funny enough, is the founder of Patreon, which is insane, and that's a story for another time. But then they use this revolving musicians, like the best studio musicians in all of Los Angeles, and then they also bring in guest singers, and they do funk covers of really popular songs, and I love it. I love the covers of these songs better than a lot of the originals, and like when I'm having people over at the house, that's what I play, because people know the songs, but it's a different version, and they really get off, and they sing along with it. So anyway, I go down to the Brooklyn Bowl, and, you know, it's packed on the floor. I'm like three rows from the stage, and you come out to open the show. And first of all, you open your mouth, you blow me away. And after the first song, and you may have heard this before, there's these three girls in their late 20s behind me, and they're like, I love her. And the other girl goes to her best friend. She goes, I feel like we could be friends. And it's just like there was such a connection between you and the audience, and just looking at them and making them feel part of it. And a lot of the people did know who you were, and I was hooked ever since then.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. And I've gone on to see and listen to your solo stuff. I listened to your stuff with Scary Pockets, which also is just absolutely unbelievable.
Thank you.
How did you end up with them?
I went to USC where Ryan went. And Ryan's a little bit older than me, but it's like a very small music school, so everyone kind of knows each other. And I believe...
Yeah, man.
I believe
USC, do you know Bob Mintzer?
I know the name.
He's the professor of jazz.
Oh,
at
yeah. So
USC.
I was in the popular music school, but I think Ryan was in jazz guitar, and I actually believe that I was in the first weekend they ever made Scary Pockets videos. I believe I was in them. I think it was the first weekend they ever did it. I think early, really, really early, because it was like a small USC crew, and Sam was doing it. Sam Wilkes, you mentioned, who's one of my best friends.
Yeah, I mean, that school's crazy, right? They just have a talent pool that's unbelievable.
It's a pretty good music. I mean, it makes sense. You know, I think a lot of musicians want to be in Los Angeles because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, so I think it attracts, and then it's an amazing. Also, the other reason is a lot of the professors get to be in Los Angeles. So a lot of my teachers were working musicians.
My son just graduated there in the spring.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
of film major.
Cool.
So he's
that's like the cream. I mean, the film school there is like the greatest.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Was there a guy? I'm also a fan of this guy, Harry Mack.
Yeah, of course. Okay, I have if you're a fan of Harry Mack, I have an amazing story.
Oh, I love Harry Mack, man.
So again, Sam, one of my best friends, he and Harry knew each other from around USC, and Sam was the musical director of my band at the time, and we used to play these parties at this house called the Pink House, which at USC, whenever I was there, was like the cool house. It was like, the frat row where all the fratty people were. But then the Pink House was like not a frat, but it was like cool people's frat. That's like what it was. It was like, was just like cool. And, so I used to play parties there all the time, and Harry would come up and we would I remember I had this song, I think it was called Shut Up. I never put it out, but I'm pretty sure it was called Shut Up. I don't really remember it, but for some reason that's what comes into my mind. And he came and would freestyle verses on it, and it was really fun. And then it was a house party, so it was like we'd be playing in like the garage, and all the people would just be surrounding us, and we had a lot of fun. Yeah. It was really fun. Yeah,
I can only imagine. I think he was a drummer back then, but yeah, he's incredible.
He's amazing. Yeah,
unbelievable. So you knew you wanted to be a singer, or maybe you didn't know, but you just sang from an early age, right?
I knew, actually. When I was 6, I sang in a town show, and I was like, done. That's it. Very weird.
Were you, I guess 6-year-olds aren't necessarily they haven't developed any insecurities, right?
True. But I wasn't
and
good.
You're just out there.
Wasn't good. I just had
but you didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, did something change ever, though? Because I know from my experience or from my kids' experience, it's different when you're that young, and then all of a sudden you're a teen.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, are people looking at me? Am I good enough? Did you suffer from stage fright?
I always get nervous. I still get nervous, but that didn't really happen to me. What happened to me at that age, in middle school, high school, even a little bit of fair amount of college, I'd even say, is as a songwriter, I started to doubt myself. And I think it has a lot to do with being a young girl who could sing. People would kind of really kind of wrote me off, no pun intended, and didn't really consider me much of a songwriter. And I was very green. I needed a lot of work as a writer, but I very clearly always was one. So that I really started to doubt myself and my ability to write. And I had to kind of unlearn a lot of that stuff later.
But are you talking about late teens, or are you talking about older than that?
I'm talking about middle school through college. And, actually it was until I got dropped from my first label. When I got dropped from because my first label didn't really think I was a songwriter either. And then when I got dropped, I kind of had to rebuild everything, and I wanted to do it. I had to find it from within. I was dropped. I was solo. So I had to figure it out. And I had to really reconnect with the writer not that I ever stopped writing. It just was a fundamental lack of faith in myself, which was sad because I look back. I mean, I was writing songs since I was 6 years old. I was always writing songs. Before that, I was making songs in preschool, so it just,
yeah, I
know what you mean. That definitely happened to me in that way. A lot of doubt.
Well, I was listening to an interview with a television writer today who also knew at a very young age. But, you're not born with the skill. You have to develop it over time. And that's what people have to know. That's the point of doing this stuff when you're young.
Yeah.
And stay with it. And that's the point of going to college and being around people so you could try out these things and experiment. And over time, if you keep at it, you're going to become good, or you're going to find collaborators, right?
Yep, totally.
Is it a lonely process writing songs?
I'm very collaborative. I mean, I write my lyrics for myself first, and I prefer it to feel lonely because I'm too embarrassed. Which I just write I'm writing such personal lyrics that if I need to feel kind of isolated. But then later I bring it to work with other people, and it's very collaborative, and it can be really fun. And you're literally jamming together. So not for me because I'm more of a collaborator. But it can be lonely down the line when I'm trying to finish songs and I'm just have demoitis and I've heard the song about 1 million times and I don't know what I think anymore. That can be kind of a lonely experience. Yeah. I'd actually say tour is more lonely. Tour is more lonely than writing, which is surprising because you're seeing all these people. But tour, you play these shows, which is the best feeling in the world, but it's not the same as sitting with a friend and hanging out. It's a very different kind of engagement. And then you go back to some random hotel room in a city you don't know anyone in and go to sleep. It's, you know what I mean? It's it's actually very isolating. I would say writing is a little bit more There's a little bit more life to it.
What about the structure of a daily life? I know touring. I get what you're saying. I work with a lot of comedians that tour around the country. One of them who I manage, you may know, his name is Jared Freed.
Yeah. Wait.
He does a lot of...
Jared and I are Instagram friends.
I know. You are.
Okay. Do you know how I first
It's funny
got
because
him?
when I came home from the Brooklyn Bowl, I had told him about the show. He's like, I know who she is.
Yeah. Okay. So
I was just with him in Detroit this weekend.
I love him. I'm a huge fan. And the way that I told him this too, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but the way I found him was because I'm a Bachelor fan. And
yeah, well, that's a good thing.
Listen,
That's a good thing.
people love to talk shit about The Bachelor, but I will support it, for its pure entertainment value. And Jared captures exactly what I love about it. He captures the absurdity, and it's really funny. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's good at it, man.
Yeah.
You should promote your album on his podcast.
I would love to. Oh my God,
he would love to have you
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best. But I'm familiar with the life of touring artists or the life of comedians who do these shows every night like
Yeah.
you. They go to the Comedy Cellar or the Comedy Store, and a lot of comedians kind of struggle with finding a routine or a lack of structure, and it's kind of hard to live that way.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Okay. I am like the least cliche artist of all time. I'm so type A. I'm such a routine little nerd. Like okay, this is the worst quality I have, but I schedule my life by the hour. Like I am upset. I'm just
Okay.
I'm crazy. Like I'm just really organized. And I think part of the reason I am that way is because, just like you said, I crave routine and structure so much, and I've chosen a life that has none. So for me, it's really about finding those specific small habits that I could do anywhere, whether it's just I go on walks. I walk every day wherever I am, and that's something I'll do, even if it's in a parking lot. I mean, the amount of walks I've done in a weird Walmart parking lot because the hotel was off the freeway or something, that's something
Yeah.
I stick to that, or I stick to, getting my tea in the morning or whatever. I just have to I have to build in structure because otherwise I kind of lose my mind. And it gets too loose and otherwise I'll just chill too hard, frankly. and I'll feel miserable. And the truth is, when I'm on tours, when I want to be feeling my best, because I had to use so much energy, it's exhausting, and I'm on stage every night, and so I have to really find some grounding stuff.
As a writer, do you have to schedule in time to lead and live a regular life?
Oh my God, that's so real. Yes, honestly. And what's funny? I was just thinking I need to go expose myself to some random life stuff, which is stupid because I've been traveling nonstop this year. You'd think I would have had enough life. But I was thinking I need to go get some art. I need to go get uncomfortable. I need to go do something that makes me nervous because it's true.
Yeah.
It's the ingredients for everything I make. So yes, I do. Schedule and fun.
I am living two alternate lives right now. I'm a manager of comedians and a television producer. So I have to create and draw from life and have been doing that for 30 years. And during COVID, I started a bread company with my family that's pretty legit right now.
Cool.
And I personally go to farmers markets and sell bread.
Oh my God,
every
you must wake
weekend.
up so early.
Oh yeah, and we bake at night and we bake the day before. It's how
cute.
nutty.
You do it with your family.
Oh, they quit after 3 months.
All right. Well, you're the one with the willpower and the focus, clearly.
Well, my son had to finish USC, so I'll give him that
that's
one.
fair.
My wife's doing it with me.
Okay.
She's a school psychologist, but she does this with me, and it's kind of cool to live.
That's amazing. What's
another
the company
life
called?
Side Hustle Bread.
Oh, perfect. Amazing. That sounds delicious.
Yeah,
In
It's pretty
COVID,
cool.
I started taking Zoom acting classes for a similar kind of thing because it just scared the shit out of me. Can I swear on this? I'm so sorry. I've done it a few times.
Yeah,
already.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Go fucking crazy.
Yeah. I had to do something that scared me because I find that is the best way to kind of jumpstart some creativity. That or because in COVID I couldn't, I wanted to go out and do something and see people and have some experiences, and that was obviously very hard to do. So So it was Zoom acting classes, which was super scary and really fun.
You know, a lot of people made use of that time and did some great things with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some positive that came out of the COVID thing, even though it did crush my whole comedy touring business.
Oh God, music too. I mean, it's disastrous. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
Disastrous.
And now it's kind of, I don't know, it's interesting because I have been traveling a lot recently, and it does seem like it's back to the real world in some ways, but it's not 100% there.
You know what my impression is? People seem super willing to go to a concert, and I'm curious if comedy is the same, but concert, if it's like a massive, giant concert, like they're like, if I'm going out, finally, I'm going all out. I'm going to Madison Square Garden, Harry Styles, like we're doing the whole thing. But they're like less excited at like the random show down the street, and I don't really blame people. I understand. It just feels like people are going like all out right now. They're like, rather than normal. Like it feels kind of like an extreme pendulum swing.
Yeah, they want the experiences. We missed out on experiences, and we want to go do those things. Yeah, it's pretty much the same, but at least it's a little bit back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, in terms of, I know everything's so personal. I read that Best Friend song, which is featured on the Netflix movie with Kevin Hart, right?
Yeah, it was just the opening credits song.
Was that really written as a joke?
Yeah, it's funny. My label always got mad at me for saying that. It's true.
Oh.
No, it's okay. They were like, just say it was just written for your friend, which it was. But what happened was, my best friend, her name's Taddy, we're super codependent, really, really close. We lived together for like 100 years. And when she finally moved out, it was just like the end of an era. And I remember the day before, I wrote some like really like heavy, sad song about it. Like really like some like growing up, end of an era song. And Taddy was like, Jesus Christ, you're going to kill me. Like, this is so sad. And so the next day in the studio, I was like, to my friends, Zach Waters and Charlie Snyder, who I wrote it with, I was like, do you guys mind if we just write this Taddy like a funny joke song today? Just because I kind of killed her yet. Like that, I really was thinking I'll never put this out. It's just filled with inside jokes. Like every line is an inside joke.
Right.
And and then I started singing it at my shows because it would really embarrass Taddy because Taddy hates attention. And so I would be like, everybody look at Taddy and sing the Best Friend song. And then of course people seem to really like it. And I noticed people liking it in a way people reacted to the song differently than they reacted to my other songs. And then my label president was there and he was like, that's your single. And I was like, are you kidding me? That's insane. I mean, it's just such a mistake. But I love the song. I mean, it's like really a very real song. It just surprised me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how about when you're recording these new albums, like, so you have Berry, it's out now, and I believe it has maybe 6 tracks, and the deluxe is going to have 4 more.
So it's a little confusing. Yes, basically. There's the Berry EP, and then there was also the Hymn for Tomorrow EP that came out last year. And the deluxe is both of those together plus 4 more songs. Because I wrote an album, and then the label's like, let's release this in pieces, because that's just how the world works. So it's actually going to be a total of like 16 or 17 songs in the end. It's big. It's long.
So you have this quality, and I know you're influenced by people like Beyonce, Amy Winehouse. That's a kind of obvious comparison, I guess, in certain ways. Her. But yeah. She was very specific as like this throwback retro sound, which I know you can kill. Mm-hmm. But is there pressure to be more pop?
There used to be, I think, I think for every artist in the world there is, but I actually don't feel that pressure anymore. I did early on in my career, but I think, and I don't think that means that there's less pressure for me now. It's more that I have such a clear vision of who I am now that I didn't when I was younger. And so it's just a lot harder to confuse me, and it's a lot harder. I don't give in to the pressure the way I used to. I used to think, I have to do this because they're telling me I have to do this, and if to get this, I have to do this. And it's just kind of like a young person who has no idea how anything works kind of perspective. And now it's like the idea of making music that doesn't feel right to me is just laughable. Like, why would I ever do that? It's, so, not anymore. No, I think, I love pop music. Best Friend song, for example, is more of a pop song than a lot of my other songs. I still love it. It's still soulful to me. And I'm so happy that it's the song that, you know, people gravitate towards. If it is, that makes me so happy. But it's
also kind of acoustic, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on, there's two versions. That's actually, you know, there's the version that we kind of made as a single that I guess was more pop, more like radio friendly, quote unquote. And then there's like the official version, and they're a little bit different. And that's like a compromise I was willing to make, you know, like I will do things like that. I have a much stronger boundaries than I used to. So I feel less intimidated by, it's harder to scare me than it used to, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we go to see Rozzi at the at Brooklyn Steel, are we going to hear pop ballads? Are we going to hear?
You'll hear what's on the record. By the way, I am playing Sultan Room in Brooklyn in November, and I'm playing in LA.
Oh, are you? Is that
the Moroccan Lounge.
The record release party?
Basically, yeah. I'm doing a couple LA dates and a couple New York dates. Sultan Room in Brooklyn, and Moroccan Lounge in LA in November. And you know, it'll sound a lot like the records, but I think for whatever reason, people always like me more live. It's been my story of my life. And the other day, somebody was talking to me, and I was at Toronto Film Festival. My boyfriend had a movie there, just to brag for him for a second. And I was there, and I was talking to somebody, and they were like, you know, it's funny, I feel guilty saying this, but I never really understood Prince until I saw him live. And it was the most validating sentence I've ever heard, because the amount of times people have told me that they're like, oh, I saw you live and it all made sense. Like, whatever. I think it might just be a sign of I'm a live performer. That's just who I am. So I would say the show is going to sound like my records, but for whatever reason, it seems to sound a little better. That's what I would say you could be prepared for.
Yeah. It's interesting because there's certain bands I don't like to listen to. Not you. I like to listen to your recordings, but like, I don't know if you know Lettuce at all, but
I do. Yeah.
You know, I listen to them sometimes and I put them on the background, but a live show from them is just like an experience. Yeah. And for a lot of people,
it's a weird problem when people are like, your live show is just another level. But I personally take it as a compliment end of the day, because I'm just like, I'm way better at that than you saying it's the opposite. You know?
You know, your live show sucks.
It sucks. Yeah.
What about, like, they must have found Best Friend's song to put in, maybe some music supervisor did. I don't know how it ended up in the movie, but that's like, I remember when we were doing a series called Rescue Me, we had an Amy Winehouse song in the show early on, and it's a great way to get exposure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's, so Best Friend song, the day after the movie came out, the number of Shazams of Best Friend song went up 780,000%. Literally. I was like, what kind of number is that? I mean, crazy. It was awesome. Really, really exciting. Really cool. That, and I have no idea how they found me.
Commercials too.
My label. I know. I would love one. To the universe. I would love another sync, please. I'm asking for it.
Yeah, man. So as someone who was into this early on, what is your take on these music competition shows?
They never appealed to me. I remember being in college at USC and had a lot of friends going on, and a lot of people telling me it's the only way to do it now. It's the way the world is. And it's been amazing for some of my friends. I mean, one of my best friends, Scott Hoying, is in that group Pentatonics, and they went on to sing off and won, and now they're the biggest, like the highest selling artist on RCA. It's like, you know, their acapella group, and it's just insane. I mean, that all.
Wait, is that the two brothers and sister?
No, it's, it's Scott and his friend Mitch and their friend Kirsty, and then Kevin and Matt. So it's five of them. An acapella group. Scott's really tall and blonde. Okay. Whatever. You probably recognize
Got
them.
it. Yep.
And the point is, that's from a show, and they have a massive career after the fact. For me, like, I'm a bit of a control freak, and I am a natural leader, to be honest. And I was always terrified of losing control. Ironically, you sign a record deal and that can happen anyway. I think I suffered from that anyway at certain points in my career, but it just was really daunting to me. And I didn't love the idea of singing covers every night. You know, as much as I had my insecurities about writing in my gut, I'm a writer, and I just didn't, you know, I think it's awesome for some people. And I know people who love to watch them, and I love that people get entertained by it. And I love singing so much. I'm such a nerd about singing that that's fun for me. But it just never called my name.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And in comedy, a lot of people are self-releasing. It's easy enough to get your comedy tracks played on Sirius XM, which is, you know, with the sound exchange where the real money comes from, less so than a Spotify. How important is a record label these days to a music artist?
I think it really depends. I love my label. BMG has really let me be me in a way that I've never experienced, and that means a lot to me. I think my advice to people is don't sign it with their label until you know who you are, because I actually think it can do some harm if you don't know who you are. That was a little bit of my experience earlier on in my career. There's a risk there. I do think when it comes to like playlisting and radio, it's a mystery that I don't understand at all. And it seems to be that a major label makes a massive difference with that still. Though sometimes I don't understand what gets playlisting and what doesn't. Is like this always eternal mystery to me. But I think they're still more relevant than they seem, I would say. I think there's a lot of talk about independent stuff, and it's very possible to be an independent artist in a way that it didn't used to be. But I think labels actually play a bigger role than it seems still. That's my impression. But I've been signed,
and do they,
for a long time, so I haven't been independent in a while.
Do they guide you on social media, or is a lot of that coming from you? And are you using your phone to shoot stuff? Or are they helping you shoot?
Yeah, they will help. I have like a whole digital team who's awesome. They give me like ideas. They really got me to start doing TikTok because I just wasn't trying to, and they really pushed me to. And they helped me figure out like what I could do on there that would feel authentic. But once they kind of jump started for me, I actually want to take ownership of it, or else it is the most soul sucking thing in the world to me. Like I need to make it fun. Like I need to make it creative, because it is such an integral part in my career that if I don't take ownership, I will hate myself and just hate the experience. And now I used to try and do TikTok. They'd be like, do the TikTok thing. And I would like try to do it, and I just hated it. And now I just sing. That's all I do. I'll just sing my own songs. That's it. That's all I'll do. And I just sing and play piano, and that makes it fun. It's like I'm practicing. It's like, who cares? That's easy. I could do that. So they do help when they can, and like give me some ideas. But end of the day, I really try and feel like it's coming from me. So it feels really personal. Right.
And talking about practicing, do you do like traditional vocal exercises every day?
Hell yes. Yes. Not every single day, but almost. I'm such like a goody two-shoes. Like I really follow the rules, and like I just warm up every day. It's like doesn't even cross my mind that I would sing without warming up. Like I just would never. Like I'm just like so strict. But again, I love routine. I love something familiar, and that's part of it. Everywhere I go, any city in the world, I could be anywhere in the world, and I have my warm-ups and I do them, and my voice knows them, and I love them. I'm also obsessed with getting better. Like I just love to improve. So I like to do them every day because it feels like I'm working towards something.
Right. Even if you're not gigging or anything, you're still doing the same routine.
Yeah, I'm warmed up right now. I warm up every day. Yeah. I mean, I'll give myself a day off when I guess I might take a day off a week, maybe 2 days off a month or something.
Do you listen to anyone from the past? I know you used to transcribe Aretha Franklin.
Yes. Did your research. I used to sing Aretha Franklin albums note for note on like my winter breaks from school. I've done that with, so many artists. I love Bill Withers. He's one of my favorite voices.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also a big like Joni Mitchell, Carole King, Fleetwood Mac. I'm a big fan of that whole kind of ilk of particularly female singer-songwriters. I do live albums for that more. Like I learned a Beyonce album note for note. I've learned an Ariana Grande album note for note. I did Prince. I've done a bunch of it. It's been years. I'm always thinking I want to do it again. I just never really have the time to do that anymore. It's something I used to do a lot when I was in school. Yeah.
Ariana's interesting to me. Really liked her as a coach on The Voice because I think she's hilarious.
She is hilarious.
She just makes me laugh. And I love that. And I almost see it in her singing in a weird way. It's like, I'm not articulating this right.
No, I agree.
She's a little over the top and
really
like kind of fucking with us.
Yeah, I think she is very self-aware. I think so. I think she's super smart. That's, I mean, I had the chance to meet her once, which was awesome. I'm a fan, and she's been really supportive actually of my career. She posted about about my first EP that came out last year, and she's been supportive, which means a lot to me. But I think she's self-aware. I agree with you. She's like smart and funny and gets the game. I mean, did you see Don't Look Up, that movie that she was in?
Yeah. Yeah.
She played this, like, obviously significantly, like, it's not her. It's like a mean pop star. But there was something about it that I was like, she's self-aware. If she's down to play a pop star in a movie, I think she gets the game.
Yeah. She's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, what about some of these, like Jacob Luttrell, who I saw that night in Scary Pockets? He's just another guy. I don't know who he's channeling, what he's doing, but he's amazing. Do you follow these people?
From the Scary Pockets crew?
Yeah. Are you fans of, like...
Yes, totally. Oh, I mean, I'm fans of everybody in there. I haven't seen Jacob since then, to be honest. He's amazing, and I loved when he would sing during those shows. I'm good friends with Kenton Chen. Kenton's been singing with me on backgrounds for years. And India Carney did some shows backgrounds too, which is incredible.
I love her. She did. She's got a song with Wolfpack.
Oh, does she? I believe that. She's so good. And actually, on my deluxe
a ballad
album,
that just blows my mind.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's good.
She arranged all these parts on this on my deluxe album. I do a surprise cover that I will announce at a later date, and she did the whole background vocal arrangement for it, because I was starting to do it myself, and I was just like, India, you're so much better at this. So she killed it. It's awesome.
I did some interviews with this band called Ghost Note and got to meet Mono Neon.
Oh, yes.
And he's a character, huh?
He was in the Michael Jackson Scary Pockets cover that I did.
Yeah.
Man in the Mirror. Okay, so that was like the depths of COVID, and we were all in our own little isolation booth, so I didn't meet him.
Oh, is that why? Because I saw it last night.
Yeah, it was COVID.
I saw everyone in the booth.
Was in there.
I just thought it was like a cool thing. I didn't know.
No, I think
it
was really cool too, but it was COVID. So yeah, so I didn't get to officially meet him, but he's amazing. Yeah. That
video has 1.8 million views, by the way.
It does? That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's awesome. What's so crazy about Scary Pockets is I have to say, it's like, I always practice. If you've listened to this podcast up till now, you know I am a slave to practicing. But it is one of the things I give the least amount of time to, because there's something about, you don't even know the arrangement before you walk in, you know? So you just go, I don't know what we're going to do. Yeah, we make it up on the spot. So when these videos get crazy views, it makes me laugh, because I think of all the things that I devote so much time to that don't get that many views. And then I just like show up one day and I'm like, what song are we doing? And you know, it's just like, it's casual, which is part of the magic, I think. But you know, it's very live.
It's part of the magic. It's part of the brilliance of Jack Conte, who understands algorithms and headlines and titles. Like,
he does. Yeah.
You know,
he's great.
Like, obviously you're leveraging, not you particularly, but off the names of these famous songs.
Yeah.
So you're telling me when you recorded Let's Stay Together with Scary Pockets, you didn't know going in you were going to do that?
I knew we were doing that song. We know the song in advance. And I definitely make sure I know the song. You know, like, I'm not going to not know the song, but we do not know the arrangement. We don't know the feel. We don't even know the time signature, because we mess with all that stuff. So, did you know have you seen the Thank You Next one that we did? Where it's actually speaking of Ariana Grande. You should watch that one. It's actually my personal favorite. It's a one-take wonder. Yes! We did one take.
I got you. That's why I played the Ariana vamp at the beginning.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we did one take for that. It just was magic. It just worked. Sometimes it just
That's
does
crazy, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the musicians are so good. You know, it's like, that's the other thing. I go in there with complete confidence that, like, we're good. Like, I don't need to think. I don't have to think about it. Like, it's just, it's all set.
They're the best in the world.
You know?
Yeah. Could I play 5 seconds of Let's Stay Together? Can I embarrass you?
Sure, I haven't heard that one in years. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is alright with me. You make me feel so great.
I mean, I love the bass lick he's doing there.
Me too.
Love
That sounds awesome.
all your inflections. It's got the grit, the gravel.
Thank you. I love that song.
You just
how can that song
that's
go
like
wrong? It's so good.
It just comes out like you're not even thinking. I can't sing that way, man. I love it. I'm just in awe of people who do that. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
I mean, I do sing every day, so I'm able to go into the room those days and just kind of see what happens. That's always I mean, it must be the same with everything. Like you probably have, how many loaves of bread have you baked? So you're able to just kind of whip one up, and that's just, and it goes that way because of the hours of practice behind.
It's true.
I'm sure. Right?
I mean, I have been doing it every day for 3 years.
There you go.
And it's something like I learned late in life, but it's one of the things I love about the repetition of it and getting more comfortable and kind of stretching it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you eat bread?
I didn't want to tell you that I'm gluten-free, but I love bread. It just makes me feel like
How
shit,
long have you been gluten-free?
Way longer than it became trendy. Okay, I was in high school. I had my blood tested, and this woman said, "You are allergic to gluten." Okay, so I am not faking it. It's real. I won't die. I mean, I would 1,000% try your bread. I would be honored to. But no, it makes me feel horrible. I try not to eat it.
All right, then I'm going to throw my 5 questions about bread out the window. I appreciate you doing this. I'm excited for the deluxe release of Berry.
Thank you. I am too.
If Jared and I could make it down, maybe we'll come to the show in Brooklyn.
Oh my goodness, please. That would be awesome. And tell Jared I would be dream come true to be on his podcast.
Oh, I will tell him. Absolutely.
Would love to.
He'll love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thanks again. And I look forward to all the amazing things you're going to continue to do, and I'll be following along.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to Bread for the People. This episode was produced by Milestone TV and Film and edited by Ryan Porter. If you're interested in advertising on Bread for the People, shoot me an email at breadforthepeoplepod@gmail.com. And if you like what you're hearing, please go over to iTunes and rate, review, let us know what you think of us. It goes a long way. We appreciate it, everybody. Have a great day. Blessed be the bread.